Hello everyone. I've got a beautiful figure drawing today, and I'm going to work after another drawing which I found on the art station. Beautiful drawing. I'll show you later on. And I'm thinking where to start and how to start it. I'm just looking at it, and I think I'm going to produce a different method today. So keep the charcoal flat like that. Go with a very, very dark value, which basically dark tonal value, dark charcoal tonal value, and then move that onto the left here, and then keeping the side of the, or trying to make with this line, trying to make the light part of the body, of the lit part of the man's body. I want to keep it dark, but also I want to keep it as transparent as possible. As I said, I'll show you the drawing later on, but I'm trying to establish the big masses of light and dark, which is actually, that's his breast, shoulder area, then you got the hand there, which is keeping his body, and then his body's hunched a little bit, the upper part. Then you got the hair, well, that's the hunch, that's the upper shoulder and the hunchy bit of his upper body. Then you got the elbow here, and maybe down, but also get the gesture of the bone structure, and then like 2/3 of it are in shadow. There you are. So move the gesture quickly and firstly, then the shadow, and the hand starts from here, finger, and then thumb somewhere here. That's quite light. And also I need to continue with, as I said, the background. So this is the background, and I'm trying to get in, flowing those beautiful darks, transparent darks here. So I got the hand worked on, and his thigh, keeping the charcoal now sideways, as I said, but then keeping it not horizontal but vertical this time. Don't know, it just gives you a different approach and a different feel to it when you keep it vertically, and also it helps with the lines. That's the cast shadow of the arm upon his body. And you got the thigh here, knee cup, crotch area. Sorry about that. Crotch area, and the head, of course, head. I got head, where the features should be: beard, jaw, neck, elbow again, what elbow? Shoulder again, here. And as I said, portrait. Hairline, and coming back on the background, back with the background. I'm afraid I've lost the transparency, but I'll try and I'll try and bring it back as much as I can. His right thigh up here. Crotch area, transparent shadows. Shadow values, need to keep an eye on the values here because they're not as dark as that on the original. There. And shoulder, his nose pops out a bit more. Beard, eye, hairline, sideburn, ear. That hunch is a bit disturbing here, so let's make it a bit lower. There, it was too much. And then try and soften these darks that I've done here. I think I'll use a brush, but not now. A bit more forward, that line of the thigh. Then what I'm looking at is from that area you've got the calf, moving low, moving down. And then you have the shin of the other, his right leg, and calf of the right leg. Well, pretty much that's the start of it. Now, I'll need, as I said, I'll need a brush for that. So, I'm using a brand new, well not brand new, but a clean brush. Acrylic or oil brush. Doesn't matter the brand of it, let me check. Graduate. The size of the brush is flat wash. Oh, flat wash. Number 1, all right. So what I was saying is, I like a cohesiveness shadow here. So that's why I'm trying to keep those as transparent as possible. Go over it again. No fear. Okay, now with the chamois, and I'm sure most of you know what chamois is. Let me show you what a chamois is. Chamois, which is basically skin, usually rabbit skin, dried up. Take out the lights here. Beautiful. Take out the lights, highlights. There. And his lower arm. Move the finger. You see, I took some shadows and that's gone dark here, somewhere here. So I'm moving the finger lower or upper, depending. I'm adjusting the finger to a clean area of the chamois. Big thigh. The kneecap, left, right one. Side of his head, his left hand side, and moving the shadow on his shoulder, some highlight on his chest, muscle. There. All right. Looks a bit woolly. So I need to adjust those because it looks a bit woolly. It looks a bit like not very fresh. As in, it's a bit tired of shadows. So get them back again. And then repeat some dark lines down here. There's no need to go with very dark lines because again, it's not needed. The viewer's eye will complete those lines. You don't need to go too dark. I think I've got too far ahead with the head. A bit smaller here. Too far down with the head. Neck. Some middle tones, you just get in the middle tones to create the muscles that they are on the human body here. And you have the bicep, the upper lines, and six pack. And get him back on his kneecap. Hand somewhere here. Thumb. I got it handy. All right. Well, that's the structure. Pretty much the structure is there. Now I can come back and highlight those muscles with the putty rubber actually this time, not with the chamois. Chamois went so far, but now putty rubber will do the job. We'll keep the lights as light as possible, but also keep an eye that some lights are lighter than others, and different values. That, for instance, went too bright. Okay. Collarbone. And the muscles here on his upper arm and lower arm. Now what I want to say is to come back with those darks a bit more here. They look a little bit like an afterthought here. That's what I didn't want it to get, but in the meaning that they've been added and they're not organically merging with the original first brush strokes. But at least I'm trying to put them on and make a cohesive dark tonal value there. There. Instead of darkening the hair, I'm darkening the background here. It's another way of doing it. Okay. Alright. I'll stop it for a while and I'll come back tomorrow with daylight because it's a bit too late. Tomorrow with daylight, that would be better. Right, see you tomorrow. Hello again. Daylight today. Better. And again going through the different shadows here that I've got. Bit of a muscle structure here. Bit of shadow, which is in between the shadow which is created by the hand on his thigh, the lower arm, moving it back and forth here, the line, adjust the line basically. See with putty rubber to get some highlight on his nose. I feel his nose needs to be a little bit more onto the light side. There. And also his upper arm needs to go a little bit lighter here. Lighter here as well. On the bicep, slightly lighter. There. Breast. And the middle of his breast, the middle, well, the bone structure. What's that? It's the collarbone, collarbone. Bit more neck here, and also bring some of his hair, bring it forward a bit more there. Some highlight that will do here. Bring the highlight on his forehead a bit more. I know it's a bit too big, but for the time being, I'll not be too worried with it. A bit more chin. There you go. It's not a portrait as such. Portrait is part of it, but it's not a portrait drawing. So I wouldn't worry about getting the likeness at this stage. Lower arm. And I would give it a little bit more, yes, a bit more movement on the lower. You see, I've done it quite close to the thigh here, but if I move it forward, if I move the lower arm, well, the whole arm further out, as in there, instead of here, move it out, it gives him a bit more dynamism. Well, that's, although it looks small, but compared to these, but it's meant to be smaller, not in size, is because of the perspective that we're using here. Because of the perspective. Sorry, that's my dog again. And you got the ear at the top. There. And a little bit off. So, what I need to emphasize here is the shadow, or the highlight, the reflected light actually. It's not even a shadow, it's a reflected light. The light source comes from here. That's where the light source comes. It's from the right. And then that brightens up everything which is exposed to the light. But it's a secondary light, because the lightest light, the brightest lights are here. There. Muscle, the six-pack. And the thigh, as I said earlier on. And then also a little bit of highlight behind the lower arm here. There, highlight behind the, so that's the cast shadow of the arm onto his body, and that is the light behind it. There, the highlight there as well, and well, there's not much more to do, to be honest. I would say it is not a gorgeous drawing, but it's recording of the right, or the relationships between proportions, between cast shadows, reflected lights, volume, gesture, mainly gesture. And likeness will be not at the highest, I would say, not as important as a gesture, because we don't know the person. It's a drawing, it's a work after, inspired by another drawing that I saw on the art station here. I don't even know the name of the artist, actually. Andy Vinogradov, but I'm not sure if he's the artist or he's the one who... Andy Vinogradov. I'm not sure if it's his drawing or he just records other people's drawing. No idea. But I saw this and I said, this is a beautiful study of a nude, male nude. Okay. Class. I don't want to keep it for longer than that. Not because I cannot keep it, it's because I don't want to stress you out to finish it off. As a full figure, almost. I mean, you don't have the feet here, but that's a little one worry less by not having the feet here. That's how the drawing comes anyway, without the feet. A little bit more shadow here in between the two and the two legs, and it's called, there's the negative space is called that in art, or in art terms. That's the negative space. Wherever you see shadow, wherever you see the background, it's a negative. Between the two legs, basically, that's the negative shape. And a little bit of hair here. I think I've gone a bit too dark with those lines here, and just pushing them back, as I don't want it to be the main focus. The lines are there to describe a form, but they're not there to be seen as lines, if you know what I mean. Not to be distracting the viewer from the form. They can describe a form, but not be the main focus. And then muscle, and a little bit of reflected light coming there. Okay, well, could be a better drawing, but I think that's good enough for our nude class this week. And thank you for posting on the WhatsApp group your drawings. Just keep coming, the drawings. You're doing really well. And I know how difficult it is to keep up with the assignment every week and the tasks that you need to come every week. It's very difficult when there's so many things going on. But you're doing fantastically well. It's on the stool here. Don't want to get too involved with it. I think it's good enough as it is. I've seen quite a few mistakes that I've done here, as in the head is quite big and the arm looks small, so just pushing the arm a bit further out. Further out, a bit more body structure here, and push the feet, sorry, the kneecap lower. There. And give the kneecap a little bit further out. The thigh, but push the thigh further out. Sorry, my mind, whilst drawing to thinking and speaking, it's just deteriorating my English really. You know what I mean? It's difficult to talk when you are actually drawing. But it has to be done at the same time. So that's what I'm trying. I'll get a bit more calf here. Yeah, I saw a few mistakes. Basically, the head is big for the body. I noticed that, but then I was thinking, okay, well, there are people with big heads, of course. Big in the meaning big in comparison to their body. And that happens all the time. Well, not that often, but it does happen. And like there are people with big hands. But I don't want mine to be one of those cases, because it's not. I mean, I'm just done it. It's my mistake. It's not that I'm seeing a big-headed man in front of me. It's that I've done a mistake here. Okay, so what I'm actually doing is to, instead of making the head smaller, that would be a massive undertaking and will just look not good, no matter what you do. I'm actually moving things about here, so making his... And that's also, it's a lesson for you to see when you do things like that, when you do mistakes like that, you know, that you see and you notice, okay, whoa, hold on, the head is small. What I'm doing here is to adjust the body with the head. So yes, raising and extending everything. Arm, legs, body, thighs, kneecaps, moving them down like I'm doing here. Push that kneecap even lower. Make that thigh a bit more rounded this way. There. And there, the calf, move the calf. Sorry for the camera that is moving constantly, is because the camera is attached to the easel, and as I'm pushing forcefully here the shadows, it's actually moving the camera. The conditions are not ideal, but I'm trying not to be too forceful here with my charcoal, as to not to get you dizzy there by looking at it. And that's where one of the issues is this one area, which will make his upper arm. There. So move that, and then move the outer line further out. There. And bring the inner line, which is the bicep, further inwards there. This is what I should have done from the beginning. But hey, it's a live drawing. Mistakes are bound to happen. And make the most of them. Sometimes mistakes tell us, or because of time pressure, mistakes will make you see things in a different, or to adjust things in a different way. The way that I was not, for instance, doing that. If I was not going to do what I'm doing now, if I saw the mistake, probably if I had time, if I had more time, what I would have done is to restart it. But because there's not much time, unfortunately, I have to go to work. I'm readjusting my proportions here. There. And making this there. There. Okay. That's highlighted. That's his back. Upper arm. Lower arm. Middle finger. Index finger. So a bit more of a mature hand here, not a child's hand, mature man's hand. There. Let's not get bogged down with the fingers there. There are more important things, as I was not going to get bogged down with the likeness. It's not about the portrait, or it's not about the fingers. Fingers are a component of what we see here, but not the most important is a gesture. There. So there you have it here. So here we are. I've noticed also that the in between the thighs you have shadow, not cast shadow. As I said, what was that? In between in between shadows, light. Between the light, the shadow here, in between the lights, that's called the negative shape. Yes, that's correct. Negative shape. There you are. You have that negative shape in between so to define more the body, and it gives more actual depth. More depth on the body here. Bring the knee cup, thigh, bring it down a bit more. I want to leave it at the sketch stage, so not a study, as a study would involve contemporary here, and I don't want to go that route. I want to keep it fresh, only with charcoal. I know it's not fresh now. It's been too much. It's been burned, metaphorically, yes, the drawing. But you know, as I say, live. Working with images live, and I don't want to work in any other way. That's the way it should be. So you meant to do those mistakes. The only thing is that the only good thing is that you should see them and try rectify them. That's the thing that we should do as artists, as much as we can, obviously. Sometimes you cannot see those things. I mean, it happened. I just stopped for a while, went for a coffee, came back, and I saw it, and I said, nah. I mean, I could have left it, but it's not a good drawing. I know you're very polite. You wouldn't tell me that it's rubbish proportions. So I was saying, okay, proportion-wise. I said, well, they're not going to say anything to me, so I better do it myself. And of course, sometimes you have just drawings which are not good at all. You might say they're rubbish. Yes. Well, I'm trying to save it for what it was. It was not good. Now, did I save it? Questionable. But at least I'm trying to rectify a few proportions here and get them straight, get them right. There. And a little bit more of shoulder here. There. And a little bit darker here as well. Just chest, middle of the chest, both chests here, middle of the chest, and here as well. Again, try not to put too many lines, not to make it manierism. Finding something niche and pretty and then repeating yourself, because that's the danger where a lot of artists go through, to repeating yourself, myself included. It's very hard not to repeat yourself because that's you, but then you should see where and when you can and when you cannot. Always trying to get something fresher, newer to say, if possible. And try not to repeat the same mistakes again. As I said, not to repeat yourself as much as you can. And okay. All right. Okay. Well, closer look. And that's it. Amazing drawing. I think it's digital, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll see you on the next one then.